In 1972, Bill Bestwick enriched his life with the Clippers organization. He laced up for the first inaugural season, and 40 years later, as you can see this wall of fame, he's everywhere on it. He coached, he managed, and even part-owned the team at one time. But after a few rough seasons, Bill Bestwick was released of his duties as coach and general manager. This past season, though, Bill Bestwick got a job with the Victoria Grizzlies, the arch rivals for the Nanaimo Clippers, as general manager and head coach. He still remains his active duties as city councilor here in the city of Nanaimo. We got an exclusive interview with Bill Bestwick. Take a look. All right, I'm joined Bill Bestwick. Bill Bestwick, your dad was one of the founding members of the Clippers. You played in the 1972 team. How was that season?
Well, it was a wonderful season, our inaugural. A lot of excitement and optimism reigned. There was approximately 14 kids from Vancouver Island and several from Nanaimo that came from the Junior B Buccaneer program that was driven by Cliff McNabb and Jimmy Dawes and some wonderful people. And my father was fortunate enough to secure the BCHL franchise with the assistance of many corporate gentlemen in our city, and I guess the rest is history. 72-73 was a fantastic season for all of us. Coach Bud Dumont and Coach Earl Robinson and trainer Ernie Cook were three of the institutions in Nanaimo at the time, and I know that they taught all of us kids wonderful lessons along the way.
So how was it for you personally? Any scoring? How was your stats?
Well, I wasn't a stat guy individually. I was always about the team first. I know I averaged a point a game. I hope that I was a good teammate. I hope that I was somebody that the team appreciated as one of their leaders as far as work ethic and commitment to the crest. And it was a wonderful season for all of us.
Now, looking down memory lane here at Frank Crane Arena, you then go on to start coaching Nanaimo Clippers in 1989?
88, 89.
And what made you make that switch to coaching?
Well, I was blessed throughout my sports career to have some of the finest coaches and mentors that will remain with me for a lifetime. Bud Dumont, as I mentioned, in hockey, and Peter Callio, who was my baseball coach, and probably both those people were far ahead of their time, and I was a beneficiary, or one of the beneficiaries. So I went to St. Louis University, returned home in 1977, and commenced coaching right away. I got into coaching youth hockey right away in 1978, and advanced up the ranks, if you will, and ended up coaching junior A hockey.
So did you always want to coach, Bill?
I don't know if you think that you always want to coach. I think you always want to help. I think you always want to mentor. It's like a service club. It's when you get involved, it consumes your life. Sport's part of your blood. When you get a chance to see kids and youth advance and improve and have fun and enjoy what they're doing, it brings a lot of pleasure to coaches, and I think that's why most coaches do what they do.
Talk about some of your favorite memories here in Frank Crane Arena. I know there's got to be a lot of them.
Oh boy, well, we started at the Civic Arena, and all by itself, the Civic Arena is probably the neatest old building, one of the neatest old buildings in the province to be a part of, and it was very historic, very iconic. It was a very intimidated building for visiting teams to come into. Some of my fondest memories, of course, with full houses, and as a player, as a coach, were at the Civic. I had some terrific players. Lee Saunders, who, bless him, is passed on. Was one of my finest defensemen that went on to the University of Maine. Won a championship, NC2A championship. But lots of terrific memories. Sean Stotts, a local boy, terrific player, one of the best defensemen to ever play in our league. But just really team stuff. It's more about team than individuals, and I would suggest that in 1989, when we took the New Westminster Royals, a team that only lost half a dozen games all season, to Game 7, and we had a lead going into the third period. Couldn't hold on. That would probably be one of my fondest team memories.
Mm-hmm. And now moving down the chain of memories, some of the best years, were the 03-04 season. Kind of explain those memories, being at Frank Arena, packed crowds. I know I was a fan back then. Kind of relive those memories for us.
Well, I think coming back in 1999, I left and coached in Victoria for parts of 2 seasons in Cowichan Capitals in their inaugural season in 93-94. And I came back to Nanaimo, fortunately. Dieter Peter and Vera Kaiser had purchased the team, and they provided me the opportunity to come back and coach here in Nanaimo. Near and dear to my heart, of course, my hometown, all those good things. And so I had the chance to come back, and we have several banners that are hanging here at the end of the rink. And it was really the people's commitment, the volunteers, the corporate family here in Nanaimo, the players, they all bought in, and then we started to build. And so we rebuilt something. We rebuilt something that had 87 seasons tickets in the season previous, that may have averaged about 700 or 800 people, to, as you mentioned, full houses. And so that is probably the fondest part of rebuilding the Clipper brand, with the likes of David Prasesky, who was still the marketing and promotions general here, and is very recognized around the BC Hockey League for the work that he did. Linda Treemstra in our office, who was absolutely fantastic behind the scenes, and many, many other people, from Tony Gardner and Gene Tate and Dr. Steve Bierman, and so many people that helped us recover to a place of prominence, and where Nanaimo Clippers are recognized nationally.
So I was talking to some of your ex-players, like Jason Garrison and stuff, and they said, you were more than a coach. You were like a friend, a father figure. Would you agree with that?
I hope so.
Yeah.
You never know how the players perceive you, but I know that they are all very respectful, and I know that the kids are all very dedicated. Jason Garrison, Raymond Sawada, Byron Bitts, Chris Tarr, and the list goes on of quality. Blaine Goodman, quality, Nick Pfeiffer. You go on and on and on with the number of kids that have influenced me and influenced our community and influenced the pride in the Clipper Orange that carries on today. And I'd be really remiss if I didn't point out the contributions that fellow counselor and fellow coach of the Nanaimo Clippers, Larry McNabb, what he did for the prominence of the Clippers in the 70s, and probably coached some of the finest teams and some of the finest players, and was instrumental to me and instrumental for me as a mentor and a person that I have the utmost respect for his community contribution.
Yeah. So we're going to move down here. We're going to grab this photo of the 03-04 season. Possibly one of the best seasons, especially as a fan. You holding the trophy. Relive that moment, Bill. How was that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That was very special because we hadn't won a championship since the mid-'70s, and it was a work in progress, and this was the culmination of all of that hard work. And this was in Salmon Arm. This was in Game 6. We were playing a team that had the likes of Chris Chucko and Travis Zajac, 2 kids that were drafted into the NHL, that are playing in the NHL. Our goaltender of record, Denny Berube, was lights out. He was remarkable in the entire playoff run. It was often remarked that he could probably have ran for mayor and won. He was so popular. We had great depth, and we had great players, and Jason Garrison and Craig Gaudet and Chris Castell and Blair Lefebvre in this building scored a huge goal against Powell River in Game 7, which turned into Game 8. Tyson Mulock was probably one of the best players I've ever had the privilege to coach. He was also instrumental. We had Raymond Sawada, Jordan Foote, and Tyson Mulock played on that line. We had great depth. Brandon Krishnarik, one of the hardest workers probably ever to wear a uniform, with his teammate Michael Olson and Blair Lefebvre on left wing. And I could go down the list of the players that were Jeff Pasenko in goal. We had a real cast of characters and a lot of comedians and very dedicated, hardworking team.
So you bled orange. You were called Mr. Clipper. It was the 2009-2010 season that was your last season as a head coach of the Clippers. Explain your last game in Victoria.
Well, we lost.
Yes.
and you always would like to win your last game. That usually is signs of good things. But I was surrounded by wonderful people here for 12 years, and we had winning records. We made the playoffs every year. We advanced many kids to NC2A and CIS and post-secondary educations and opportunities, which was our #1 priority goal and objective. We increased attendance here to the point where we had 1,800 season ticket holders. We delivered, and we delivered what we promised. In 2007, we went on to win another BCHL championship. I think for 4 or 5, 6 years, we were a top team in the country, and we were ranked nationally most years. So nothing but fond memories. Blood orange, no question about that. And I hope the people that supported us and continue to support the hockey club, of course, and they need to. Junior hockey is a wonderful opportunity for you to escape for a couple of hours every week from the real world. And they need to cheer loud and proud for their home team, and they need to be proud of their team colors. And I'm very, very proud to have been able to have an opportunity to spend as long as I did here in my hometown.
So we got to ask the question, did you expect to come in? Did you see it at all, Bill?
Well, I knew that I was being asked to sell my shares, and I knew that I was being asked some things that probably would lead to being presumptuous, that things were changing. And stuff that some things that you don't want to admit. I was probably in denial, seeing it coming and wishing it wouldn't, and hoping that this would be my last year on my contract. I do have 2 years remaining on my contract. This would be my last year, as that I committed to in a contractual basis. And with our 40th anniversary, something that I really wish to be a part of. My family was very committed to the team, and so it's something that we really wanted to be a part of. Maybe I'll have an opportunity to be a part of it, just behind a different bench.
Yes, exactly. And that at least the question, back in June, the announcement was made that you're the head coach and manager of Victoria Grizzlies, one of the arch rivals, the Nanaimo Clippers. How do you do it? This was a team that was dead last year, and now they're #1 in the Allen Division. How do you do it, Bill?
Well, I think that you establish trust in your team. I think you establish system and core values, and you hope that you get buy-in. And we've been extremely fortunate to be able to attract players that have bought in, that provide us the inspiration and the courage every day to introduce new things and new methodologies. I think the season that I spent off was really a benefit, really rejuvenated the competitive juices for me personally, and I know that with Craig Didman and James Gartner and Federico Angel and the new ownership group that we have in Victoria, it's a fantastic group of people, first and foremost, and I think that probably permeates right through the entire locker room. But the kids win on and off the ice. There's no magic, there's no secret. It's whatever the kids are willing to give, and there's a great saying, and it says, you get what you tolerate, and if you don't tolerate mediocrity, you'll probably have a little bit more success than failure, and our kids don't tolerate mediocrity.
And so you had the Fitzgerald triplets when you were head coach in Nanaimo, then the new coach Mike Vandekamp trade them off. Was it your first objective to get those three back in Victoria?
Absolutely. Clearly my #1 objective upon being hired. Took about a month, and fortunately for us, and fortunately for the fans in Victoria, we were successful in acquiring them. We had to give up, 3 very, very, very good players, but in exchange for 3 great players that I'm really comfortable with and that are really comfortable with my style. And they've proven to be everything and more that we thought and hoped. And the best news for us is, and the fans, we have them for another season. So they'll be hallmark players in the Grizzly uniform for a couple of years. Yeah.
So let's talk about the day you returned, September 28, 2012, to Frank Crane Arena. This time on the opposing bench, 1,500 fans strong. What was it like, Bill? Because you basically lived here before.
Yeah, I spent a lot of years here. I also managed Frank Crane Arena and the Civic Arena, and so this was home. And this is where I saw kids grow up, and saw my own kids grow up right here. And this every day walked into the building. Took a lot of pride in our dressing room and the things that we did here. this wall of fame, take a tremendous amount of pride in this wall. And so it was a little bit odd, it was a little strange, I have to admit that it was, but at the end of the day, this is a job and this is an occupation, and things happen in the world of sport that aren't always in your control. So we came back, we tried to downplay it as an organization. We didn't want it to be a distraction by any stretch of the imagination. And our number one objective was to come in and win and get 2 points and go home. It didn't happen that way that night, but it was a good night. We managed to battle with the team that's been built for a championship, and we hung in there right to the bitter end. And since then, we've won 2 games here, so we're making progress.
Last question, I got to ask a question. It's hard to manage 2 jobs. Never mind being a city councillor and a head coach and a manager. How do you do it? How do you think the people who elected you in feel about you working 2 jobs, one in Victoria and one here in Nanaimo?
I don't think that there's any real objection to people earning a livelihood and doing what they need to do to survive. And it just so happens that my primary job, if you will, is in Victoria. I've made the comment, if I was a traveling salesman, nobody would probably really give a hoot. But because there's sports involved and because there's emotions, and that maybe people think that I'm not fulfilling my responsibilities. But being a council person it's a fun challenge. It's a fun task. It's life balance. I work real hard at it. I'm very proud to be a member of City Council. I'm very proud of the work that we've been able to do and achieve, and lots more work to be done. So I don't take council doesn't take a back seat to my commitment to it, and so I think that the people understand that I've always been a hard worker, that I've always pretty much worked 2 jobs all of my life, and Lloyd Cherry and lots of other people have worked, Bill Holdham and many people have worked in other venues and other jobs and given back to their community, and so I'll continue to do that as long as I can.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill, and
Thanks,
good luck
pleasure.
this season.
Thanks a lot.